Hello, my name is Kristen. I live in a van with my cats, and I sell and share happy thoughts, and this is the Happy Thoughts Podcast.
Hi, it's episode 52 of the Happy Thoughts Podcast. I'm at Omega Institute. I got a position. It's a seasonal position it was supposed to start in May, but I started in June, and it goes through October, and I have so many thoughts and feelings on just having your basic needs met. I'm able to have access to water, food, electricity, laundry, showers, and just space for the first time in almost 4 years with autonomy, where I'm not asking anybody for anything. And I'm not saying that's bad to do. It's very good, and it's been a very good experience just observing help and the challenges within accepting and giving help. But I have my basic needs met right now, and I am happy as a clam, and I am very grateful to be here. If you haven't heard of Omega Institute, it's in Rhinebeck, New York, and a lot of really great teachers come here. And it's for holistic studies. So there's writing workshops, and there's healing, and there's Reiki, and there's astrology, and there's so many things. And it's right up my alley. I came here for a workshop, which I had talked about. Elizabeth Gilbert came here, and she did a workshop, and then I had applied to work here back in April, but they were full. So I came to the workshop, and I was told that there were some open positions, and I was like, oh, I should ask. So I interviewed and asked if I could just not leave, and I got a job. So here I am. I'm here through October, and I don't know what this podcast should be about, and so I'll pull a happy thought and we'll talk about it. But just the presence of safety is blowing my mind. I didn't realize how stressful existing has been in the van, living the way I'm living and doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I am so happy doing what I'm doing, and it's a challenge that I've chosen. I'm very aware of the choice, and I'm very grateful that I have a degree that I can, I don't want to say fall back on, but I can fall back on if I need to, which I think has exacerbated some risks that I've taken in the past few years, because I do believe that I can catch myself if I have to. But right now, Omega has caught me, and I am so grateful to be here. And we're gonna pull a happy thought. I've been giving happy thoughts to everyone. Ooh, it's an Elizabeth Gilbert happy thought. You have to participate relentlessly in the manifestation of your own blessings. Elizabeth Gilbert. I love this because it's a lot about how our lives are our responsibility, and life is relentless. Life is really hard, and you think you've made progress, and then the same thing comes back up again, or you think you've learned that lesson, then you're challenged again, you have to relearn it, or you have to pass another test that you're ready for the next thing, and then the next thing is challenging too. It's just challenges. Elizabeth Gilbert actually talks a lot about Earth School, and that when we signed our contract to come to this earth as our little human baby forms from being a soul, it's part of the contract is that this is really hard. No one gets out of here without suffering. And I love this because you have to participate relentlessly in the good stuff, that all exists too. And it's really hard to see sometimes, especially when you're in the thick of it or when you're in the challenges. And just getting here was magical. It's been a really rough year. I think after the death of my mom earlier this year, and just trying to figure out who I am now and where I want to go, where I'm capable of going, and what I need, an entire version of me, whoever I was before she died, and who I am now is something. I don't know who I am now. And that is scary, and it has just changed my way of existing because I don't know what's going on right now. So going to the workshop, the purpose of that was to get me moving, is to just do something. It was to participate in my life rather than sitting feeling sad. I spent 3 months in Michigan with my dad, and it was so lovely, and I'm so grateful for that time. And we both knew that I'm gonna have to go live my life, and I didn't have a home to get back to, I didn't have a family to get back to, I didn't have a job to get back to. So it was a really shaky time, and just a friend of mine used the word untethered to describe how she has felt since the loss of her dad. And that is a really good word for how I have felt this year. And I just feel like I'm flying through space, and going to that workshop was kind of an anchor. It was just something that I really appreciate Elizabeth Gilbert's view on death and dying and suffering, and creativity and joy, and just participating in your life and creating your life. So it was really the first thing that I felt drawn to go do, that made me feel alive. And I had a friend that was just a couple hours from here, so I was able to put those two together. So I left Michigan to get here. I wasn't aware of the job possibility at that time, and I'm just thinking about this in terms of the quote where just trying your best right now for what you can do right now, and even if it's just dreaming about what it is that you might want to do, it makes it so much more possible to show up. It makes you even just have the right questions to ask, and possibly you ask the question when the right person's around and you actually get the answer. But the participating relentlessly is keep asking the question. If you didn't get your answer, or you don't feel aligned with the information that you're getting, keep going, because it does exist. Sometimes I think that we're challenged. How bad do you want the thing that you say you want? Because sometimes our lives don't look like we actually want the thing that we say we want. Like, we say we want healthy relationships, and then we let people treat us bad. We say we want more time and space to be creative, and then when we have time and space, we're scrolling on our phones the whole time. Or we want community, yet we don't go anywhere where there's a lot of people. So you have to try, and also you have to let go of whatever the hell is going to happen. And that letting go and surrender has been a real theme of this life this year. And I mean, a lot of my time in Michigan was a lot of surrender and letting go, and really just trying to use the space that I had of safety. I was there for winter. It was a really cold winter, but it kind of makes you pause and makes you stay with yourself a little bit. I think in order to participate relentlessly in the manifestation of your blessings, I think that we need to believe that the blessings exist, that it's possible to have a life that we can picture. And sometimes that just feels really scary to let your brain go there, because if we think of things we want, then those things can be taken away, and that can be really sad and devastating. Also, it's sad and devastating when we don't try and we're just living in a challenging situation. And I remember giving a happy thought at my first holiday market. It was my first holiday season selling happy thoughts, and these two girls were walking by. I was like, would you like a happy thought? And one of them kind of hesitated, and I was like, what's the worst that can happen? And she goes, I could be disappointed. And I was like, oh, it's so true. We're such sensitive little beings, you know? And I think believing that there's good stuff can be scarier than assuming that there's not good stuff, because we get to stay even keeled. And I talked about this in a few episodes back when I was talking about gratitude. I forget what the what number that one was, but it might have been 48, 47. Anyway, there's a interview with Brene Brown and Oprah where she's talking about joy, and that joy is the most terrifying emotion that we can feel. And that's kind of surprising, but joy is terrifying because you can lose. You've let yourself go up. And so it's like, oh, there's nowhere to go but down. And she was talking about how there's people who feel joy and people who don't feel joy, and kind of the different camps of how they view life and do life. Foreboding joy was the main topic of the conversation. We can feel uncomfortable when things are going right, when you got the job and you have the relationship and you have the house and you have all the things. There's a moment of terror of, oh my gosh, something's gonna fall. It's really hard to picture being able to keep all of that. And so it's scary to feel that type of joy. And she was talking about how there are people who are a more joyful people who do allow the joy in, practice a lot of gratitude. So they feel that same feeling of foreboding, like I might lose this. But rather than taking it down a level and just trying to stay a little bit smaller, they start spouting off gratitude. I'm grateful for this space. I'm grateful for this person. I'm grateful for this meal. I'm grateful for this nature. Wherever they are, being able to just practice gratitude. And in the space that I was in between interviewing to come here to Omega and coming here for the job was about two weeks. And boy, was that a challenging 2 weeks. Like the limbo, the grief, the van, the being somewhere that I'd never been before. So I interviewed, but there was a lot of moving parts, and I asked to be put in the ring, and I was very happy to be patient and wait if I could possibly come here. So they sent me a letter saying I didn't get the job. And I was like, okay, surrender, let go. I'm gonna go back to California. That's where we're heading now. And participating relentlessly. I had actually been staying with a friend that I'd met at the workshop. Hi, Megan. Which was so wonderful. I was so grateful. And I had some van issues that I had to figure out. So it was really, really awesome to have a safe space to be and be able to hook up to things. So I got to talk with Megan, and I was like, yeah, I didn't get it. So I'm going to be leaving and heading back to California. And the next morning, I really did have love for the whole situation. It was really, I was just happy to know something, and I didn't feel personally offended that I didn't get it, because I was like, I know there's a lot of moving parts and it was a long shot anyways. So the next morning, Megan makes me cacao, which I'd never had cacao before, and she's telling me everything. Like, if you've ever had cacao, I might be saying things that you might say differently, and if you haven't, here's what I know about it. We shaved off the cacao from the chunk of cacao. I've said cacao so many times. And then we added it to hot water. She added like honey and kind of things. And then you stir it with a little stirrer thing. And you're supposed to put your own intention into it. So I put my intention. I was stirring it and I was like, peace and ease, peace and ease. I was not feeling peace and ease. And so we're sitting on their porch and drinking cacao and just being quiet. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, peace and ease. And I'm thinking about how I want it. Like, I just want peace and ease. I don't feel it and I want it. And then I just looked at what I was doing. I was like, you're sitting on this beautiful porch looking out at the trees. Someone literally handed you a homemade hot drink to just sit here. That is peaceful and ease. Those two things are happening right now. You literally have that right now. And to be grateful. And not telling myself to be grateful, I just am grateful. And not even 10 minutes after that, I got an email offering me a position at Omega. And it was such a great moment. So I accepted. And then to get here and have all my needs met at at one time, especially after the past 2 weeks. It was pretty magical, and I was euphoric for like probably 48 hours. I mean, I still am kind of, and it's been a little over a week, but I do believe that this is happening, and I am where I am, and I'm going to meet the people I'm going to meet, and I'm going to do the things that I'm going to do this summer from sitting and just writing in Michigan, or from talking about what I'm going to do and hearing that there is a possibility of doing a job here, or speaking to someone and hearing that there's openings. All of that brought this moment. I am so happy to be here. And I also know that this is from relentless moments of trying. And it just feels like they're doing nothing until it feels like they're doing everything. And I think it's really easy to get hard on ourselves when we tell ourselves we're not doing enough. And it's on us to guard our hearts, take care of our hearts, and to create our lives. No one else is going to do that. No one can do it, and it's no one else's job to do it. And I think finding freedom in that rather than terror in that is a pretty awesome space to get to. And I haven't really talked about my life and my feelings and my experiences, really. I just didn't have words, and I really couldn't speak about my life. It was very vulnerable and very just raw for the past 5 months. And feeling safe for a minute has allowed me to feel safer feeling. And I think that's why I have more words right now. And I'm sorry, this was a lot about me. But you have to participate relentlessly in the manifestation of your own blessings. Your blessings are yours, you know? They're up to you to find. And they're definitely waiting. This universe is funny. And life is really, really hard. And also, there's always the glimmers. There's always those little moments. Even in real crap times, there's somebody else who understands, or there's somebody else going through it, or there's somebody that wants to help. And then we get into the receiving help thing, which I'm not gonna go down that road right now. But thank you for listening if you did. And I made some friends here who want to be on the podcast, so I'm really excited to talk about Omega with Omegans. I'm working in 3 different departments while I'm here, so I get to meet a lot of different people, and it's really fun. And I've gotten a little quieter about Happy Thoughts. I don't hand them to everybody because I don't want to be overwhelming, but I do it a little bit, and it makes me happy.
Thanks for listening. Happy Thoughts are available on my website, thehappythoughtproject.com, and Amazon, and Fair for Wholesale. And we're on the Instagram, Happy Thoughts by Kristen. If you want to follow or leave a review on the podcast, you'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you, YouTube viewers, for being here.